It's time for Becoming Gift with Andrew Reinhart.
Good morning, Pat, Dave, and Ron. This week on the segment, I wanted to talk about God, safety, fear in the body, continuing our series from last week when I started to ask the question, how does the body react to God's presence? And today I wanted to go on by talking about one aspect of the physiology of safety and fear, to understand our body and what's happening inside of it. When we're experiencing safety and fear, we have to understand the nervous system. And one important part of the nervous system is called the autonomic nervous system. This controls our unconscious reactions to things, including things like heart rate, digestion, respiration, the dilation of pupils, and the energy in our system. There are two aspects to this system, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. These systems are mirrored or antagonistic to one another. Think of it as pedals on the car. You're hopefully either pressing the gas on your car or the brake on your car. The gas speeds up the system, gets things going, gets things moving. The brake slows things down. And the sympathetic nervous system is like the gas. It controls states of fight, flight. It engages the body, its energy in the body to react to the demands of what's around you. Where the parasympathetic system is like the brakes of the body. This is your states of resting, and it enables your body to do things like digest and socially connect and heal. So you see these two systems of the body, we're basically phasing back and forth between sympathetic states and parasympathetic states. And the way the body is doing this is through a process of detection that's called neuroception. That's a fancy word. That's the body pre-consciously reacting to cues of safety or danger. So remember last week, we talked about our perception is a mixture between our beliefs about the present, our memory, and our anticipation of what's coming up in the future. So our body is continually detecting the environment we're in and then calibrating the autonomic nervous system to respond to the situation that it believes we're present to. So imagine you enter into a room and there's going to be a mixture in that experience of your past experiences of entering into that room or other rooms in general, your beliefs about what might be there, the people that might be in the room, or maybe you're entering into a party of family. Maybe you're entering into a big social event where you'll know no one. And so your body is reacting to that, priming yourself with either a sympathetic or parasympathetic charge in order to respond to what's happening there. And I said preconscious and detection, and these are very intentional words because we can become aware of the state of our body, but all of this is happening at a rate faster or underneath our conscious perception of what's happening. Our body is just doing this on its own. That's why it's called the autonomic nervous system. So some of the primary states that we phase in and out of, the first kind of top of the ladder is a safe and social state. This is a strongly parasympathetic state. There's signs of this, like you're able to maintain eye contact. You have expressiveness in the face, and you're able to notice the expressiveness on other people's face. You have a stronger ability to hear voices, and this is because the bones of the inner ear are affected by these systems. So we're in a safe and social state. We're physiologically more capable to focus on specific voices, where if we are in an unsafe state, a fight, flight, or shutdown state, those bones of the inner ear are calibrated to notice peripheral sounds. So when you go down this ladder, the next state is a flight state. This is a sympathetic state. Some signs of this might be that you feel fidgety, you have a desire to leave the place you're in, you have an inability to focus, you feel like the voices around you are drowned out by the noise, the peripheral noise, because you're tuned to kind of find potential threats on the periphery. You might have a feeling of anxiety, but in this flight state, your body is basically primed to get you to move, to get you to change where you are. If you continue to go down the ladder and feel unsafe, you'll enter into a fight state. This is a kind of a deeper sympathetic state. You might start to feel agitated or angry or tense. You might feel a desire to fight or lash out, an inability to calm yourself down, and an inability to feel empathetic feelings to the people you're with or to what you're learning about. And then the final state, which actually mixes back in the parasympathetic system, is a shutdown state. This is a deep sense of numbness that can come over you, a feeling of apathy or hopelessness. People in this state will enter into more of like a flat tone with their voice and a frozen face. And typically when somebody's in a shutdown state, they're unable to hold or maintain eye contact just on a natural, spontaneous level. There's also mixed states, like a play state can be a mix of safe and social with fight and flight. Think of like tiger cubs wrestling. They have that energetic charge, but they're also connected. We also have a stillness kind of a state where like more of a meditative state where you're going to be mixing a safe and social state with that shutdown, being still, very calm. But then there's also a freeze state. And this is like an animal whom is fawning because of needing to face a life threat. So they play dead, so to speak. And this is a mix of fight, flight with being shut down. One of the concepts that's in this literature is that our story in our head follows the state of our body. And what this means is that our brain tries to make sense of the physiological state our body's in. And oftentimes this is important when we're like trying to pray because you're dealing with a procession of distractions in your mind. And so those stories, those distractions might actually be being driven by the state of your body. Your mind's trying to make sense of how you feel. So a powerful tool to calm down your mind and surpass these distractions is to affect the physiological state of your body. So I'm going to conclude the segment by just giving you 3 powerful tools for how to adjust and affect your autonomic system. Remember, we can make ourselves conscious of this. So it always starts with just noticing how you feel. Are you kind of fidgety? You wish you wanted to move? Well, maybe you're kind of in a flight state. Are you aggravated and angry? Maybe it's a fight state. Do you feel kind of numb and shut down and detached? Maybe it's a shutdown state. The first important tool is breathing. It's because this breathing process is an automatic system of the body, but it's the one automatic system that we can also take conscious control of. So every breath in is a little bit of a sympathetic charge, a little bit of energy, a little bit of gas on the pedal. Every breathe out is a little bit of brake, a little bit of parasympathetic charge. This is why in so many meditative techniques, there's breathing involved. And oftentimes you'll have an extending of your exhale to slow down your system. So one practice is to do a 2x breath. And what this means is you extend your exhale for twice as long as your inhale. And so you're doing that to move your body into more of that resting state. So you might breathe in to a count of 3 and then breathe out to a count of 6. And by doing that for a few moments, you just start to move into that more of a calm state. The second big tool is co-regulation. When we start to feel unsafe, the first thing the body does is start to look for other people who would make us safe, a tribe, a family, a pack of people around us. And oftentimes, if we are in danger, if we're around people we know and love and trust, it ends up regulating our body. So we can seek out a safe person to be around. Now, one way we can do this is if we feel safe with God, you can enter prayer. And there's a lot of different prayers of, for example, meditating on God's face or imagining you're sitting in a room with Christ or imagining Christ in the scripture, but entering into a co-regulated, a safe space where we are connected with the Lord. But some people also just go around and be with people. I know a lot of people who they like to work in coffee shops. And I think one of the dynamics of this is that there's people around. And since there's people around, they feel the right amount of safety that they're not so agitated and distracted that they can't work. But on the other hand, they're not so safe and relaxed that they, aren't motivated and don't have the energy. It's like being in the coffee shop is the right amount of charge. The final real powerful tool that I implied earlier was your imagination. The autonomic nervous system is reacting to what you're detecting. And one of the beautiful things about the imagination is we can feed our perception images. So recalling scenes of safety can move our passions. So we might remember a memory of joy or gratitude, and that can adjust our state. Or we might imagine being with a safe person, maybe being with a loving parent, or maybe being with God as a loving parent. So these 3 tools, breathing, co-regulation with other people, and using your imagination, we can start to affect our physiological state.